We are only 3 weeks into the summer transfer window, and we have already seen blockbuster moves as clubs look to bolster their squads ahead of the new season. But the story of the transfer window so far has been that of Saudi Arabia, attempting to lure almost all of the top players in Europe. It began with Al Nassr signing Cristiano Ronaldo in January, which came as a shocker, and they showed they meant business when they convinced current Ballon d'Or holder Karim Benzema to join them. Since then, they have been targeting literally everyone who cares to give them attention. But the most intriguing part is how many Chelsea stars look set to ditch the Premier League for Saudi Arabia, and more specifically, to one of the 4 clubs in which the Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund recently invested in: Al Ittihad, Al Ahly, Al Nassr, and Al Hilal. The Blues seem to have struck gold in the Arab country. So far, the Saudi clubs have taken Angolo Kante, Edouard Mendy, and Kalidou Koulibaly off the Blues' hands, with more deals in the pipeline. So the question begs, why are so many Chelsea players moving to the Middle East? The most obvious reason is that the Saudi clubs have the money and are willing to spend by offering serious incentives to players as they look to grow the profile of their league. Kante, for instance, is set to earn a whopping £67.6 million per year for 4 years at Al Ittihad, while Koulibaly will pocket around £30 million per season. Talk of securing the bag. Chelsea, on the other hand, need the money to balance their books. The Blues have spent over £500 million on transfers alone since Todd Boehly took over from Roman Abramovich, which has led many to question whether they are complying with financial fair play rules. It's the same reason they were willing to sell the likes of Mateo Kovacic, Havertz, and Mount, even to direct rivals, to balance the books. Chelsea's mission has been to offload the excesses, which happen to be close to 20 first-team players, and not just offloading them, but doing so and getting some reasonable market value for them. Bulk of the players offered to Saudi Arabia have displayed neither form nor fitness recently, and would be almost impossible to recoup the amount the club spent in acquiring them. That is, if they will attract any suitors to start with. Also, a good number of them are on the wrong side of 30 with contracts that are winding down. While Romelu Lukaku has rebuffed interest from the Saudi clubs, the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Hakim Ziyech, and Callum Hudson-Odoi are reportedly keen on ending their Chelsea association and ride into the sunset in the Middle East. So, where's the problem exactly? The Saudi Arabian League is one on the rise, and they are willing to do anything within their financial power to lure top-profile players. They identified a club in Chelsea's situation that was desperately looking to offload some of their top players, and it was the perfect ground to do their shopping. Is there more than meets the eye? That's what many rival fans feel, including former Manchester United defender Gary Neville. The former England international has called for an immediate transfer embargo to be placed on Premier League players moving to Saudi Arabian Pro League. Of major concern is whether Chelsea are, by extension, owned by the PIF. Let's paint the picture for you. The PIF is not an organization that invests particularly in sports. Their aim is to drastically expand the financial and cultural power of Saudi Arabia and place them among the major players on the world stage and diversify the country's economy away from relying solely on oil. They've got interests, and they have the money in virtually everything, including Clearlake Capital, the same firm that owns Chelsea Football Club. Clearlake Capital specialize in acquiring companies that ceases to have a significant financial potential before selling the company for enormous profits. Chelsea's other co-owner, Bedad Eghbali, was the founder of Clearlake Capital, alongside Jose Feliciano, and their company gave out nearly 2/3 of the amount required to buy Chelsea in July 2022. But does that mean that Chelsea, or even Newcastle, are owned by the state-funded PIF? Well, the answer is no. That's not how private equity firms work, even though potentially some of their money could have been used to acquire the clubs. There shouldn't be any question of conflict of interest between the two clubs' ownership models. The Premier League even obtained written assurances that PIF was not involved in the move in any way, and were entirely satisfied with the answers they got. What is alleged, however, is that such is PIF's involvement with Clearlake and the money the company would stand to either make or lose to the ownership of Chelsea, that they are proactively helping them flout FFP restrictions and inject major new investment to the purchasing of unwanted players at inflated prices. Some would say that's financial doping, and by some, we mean fans of the clubs that have enjoyed seeing Chelsea's chaos in recent months. But could it be that there's no such involvement by the PIF in Chelsea's business? The answer is a yes and no. Yes, PIF have invested in Clearlake, but the structure of the company is complex, and even if they benefited from PIF, it has to be a fraction of the overall financial makeup. Also for PIF, considering their enormous financial power, their interest in Clearlake would only account for a tiny fraction of their overall operations. While Todd Boehly's relationship with PIF is undoubtedly making for some smooth negotiation between Chelsea and the Pro League clubs, there's virtually no difference between the business being conducted at Stamford Bridge and that being conducted by any other club anywhere in Europe. For instance, Real Madrid and Wolves have sold players to the Saudi Arabia, while there have been bids for tens of players in other clubs including Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool, PSG, and even Barcelona. Plus, the Premier League has rules in place to audit all transfers over £1 million to ensure they are reflective of fair market value, so everyone can rest easy. The truth is, this is an arrangement that has come at a perfect time for both parties. Chelsea needed to get players out of the door as quickly as possible and recover as much money as they could, and in Saudi Arabia, they have the perfect, ready customers who are desperate to grow the profile of their league. So, it's a win-win. What do you think of Chelsea's sales to Saudi Arabia? Let us know in the comments below.